What's going on, everyone? This is Michael Stewart Isaacs.
And this is Shemekka Ebony.
And this is your next edition of Sunday Stacks. Sunday Stacks, we're back. The dynamic duo, me and my beautiful wife, Shemekka Ebony, we're here to tantalize your ears with another episode of the Sunday Stacks podcast. We're excited to be here. We are always happy to be a part of the Alive Podcast Network. Got to shout out Alive. Alive was at the DNC convention this week. So shout out to Alive Podcast Network for all the great work that you're doing and continuing to grow. You know, together we will continue to bring messages and conversations that people don't normally get an opportunity to hear and get to share. So we are grateful for the Live Podcast Network as we continue to expand on the Sunday Stacks message and really making sure that you understand that family, community, and company are the utmost week for week. So as we get ready to start, you know, of course, like I said, myself, my lovely wife, Shemekka, we always like to start every week just telling you all how it's stacking up for us. We hope it's stacking up for you out there. I hope this has really been a show that really shows you that every week you should have expectations in regards to how things should be growing within your life, particularly family, community, and company, really being intentional to find wins in those spaces. So as we ask our listeners every week, and we're asking each other just to kind of show you all how to, you know, create this habit, Shemekka, I'm going to ask you, how's it stacking for you this week?
Oh my, it's been stacking really good. I had a lot of things that brought me joy happening this week. And I want to first connect it to an experience we did last week with my mother and our two youngest children. And this was a grandparents' day to the art museum trip that we did with my mother.
It was so fun.
And this was her first time going to this art museum. And I was glad to be able to have this be an experience that she can share with my children and create memories. Much similar to what Alive Podcast Network is doing with a really cool contest they have coming up called Isn't Life Grand, where they're looking for stories of grandparents and grandchildren coming together, bridging that intergenerational gap during a podcast episode with pre-arranged questions that Alive Podcast Network has come up with for a chance to win $1,000.
$1,000. Do you hear that, y'all? $1,000 just to tell the story of connecting with grandchildren and their grandparents. How beautiful is that? And I know in my life, my grandma was someone who I loved her wisdom. I'll tell anybody today some of grandma's wisdom. So this is an amazing opportunity that Alive is creating for our listening audience, as well as us as people who are part of this podcast network that want to share these phenomenal stories. Anything else going on this week?
Yes, we actually pulled up, the Shemekka Mobile pulled up this week at RoarCon 2024.
Shemekka Mobile, driving through community. You know, that's our theme
Shout
song.
out to the fan club that was on the side of the road yelling at us, celebrating as we're standing with them. And as union workers, we definitely support community leaders championing change in ways that benefit them and their community. And so with that experience, War was really about finding your space, finding your voice, finding your power, finding your next connections. This conference centered on women in business and corporate America was a great convening of masterminds and how to get what I like to say, get your kitchen in order, as well as develop meaningful relationships. Well, what about you, Mike? How was the conference for you?
Oh, man, the RoarCon, right? You got to hear my roar, y'all. Roar! You know, let me bring that up, that Mufasa kind of roar, you know. But RoarCon was really amazing. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I was grateful for the invite. It, again, is produced by Griffin McGee. She's just super awesome leader here in the Raleigh-Durham community. For those who know, North Carolina's hitting gems. We have a lot of amazing people in our state across different cities, and she is one of those leaders that is just continuously empowering particularly women and really making sure that they find their voices. And as a man and an ally that was in the room supporting that, you know, space, it was just amazing to not only just capture some powerful and amazing women, but just see the camaraderie and the connectiveness that they're fostering to continue to break glass ceilings and really push for great things. So I was honored to be in the room and just seeing the growth and the continued support support that women are giving each other and what Dion has been able to foster with the Roar Con. So make sure you find your voice and your roar, and that's something I got out of that event.
I love it. This was incredible. I was glad to be able to support her as a partner. We're both in the NCID ecosystem together, and we also are very passionate in repping for Eastern North Carolina and women growing in their power. So it's really good to be there to support for her. But also this week, while I was stacking my family was stacking. I had an opportunity to my brother, my oldest brother, who I've only seen maybe one other time in my life. We had an opportunity to get together. He came here with my family, and it was so beautiful to experience. I told him, I got a chance to touch you. I'm touching you now. That was incredible. But to see our natural, just authentic mannerisms, our smile, I see myself in him. It was really good to connect and catch up. We've talked on the phone before. We've talked on social media, but to get a chance to hold him was something special, and to have our two youngest sons get to meet their uncle and see more of their family. It was so wonderful to experience that this week.
I love it. It was an amazing experience just to be there to support my wife as she's reuniting with a sibling that she didn't grow up with, but the love wasn't lost. And like she said, just to see the similarities in them. And, as they always say, nurture and nature, right? There's that nurture that, the people who raise you and so forth. But then sometimes people just have certain nature and innate looks and smiles. And it was just amazing to see how much they had in common, though they didn't necessarily grow up in a common household together. So it was just, again, shout out to God, shout out to genetics, shout out to how things come full circle.
Right. So we got to meet Keetrick in person and touch him. It was also my sister Latanya's birthday. Happy birthday to Latanya. So Keetrick, Latanya, and Jamila, we all got together. We've been able to be connected virtually, but it was so good to have those connections this week. So I'm stacking with a full heart this week, Mike. So how's it stacking for you?
Oh, man. I mean, besides just enjoying all your wins and just supporting you all week, just between, as we say, FCC family things we had, community events, as well as our company events. For me, this has been a week of regrouping and really reorganizing. And as most things, I always want to let you all know, make sure, again, you like and subscribe. You're here on YouTube, everywhere. But a lot of what we talk about on Sunday Stacks week for week and how it stacks up, we actually put it on social media. Yeah. So that's kind of the Where's Waldo or the gamified nature of Sunday Stacks. If we're talking about it, check out our social media platforms at Shemekka Ebony, at Michael Stewart Isaacs, full name spelled out, or as we also are building our Sunday Stacks podcast platform on Instagram. Make sure you all check those platforms out to continue to keep up with the story, visualize and see what's going on. So for me, this was a week of regrouping. And what does that mean? Just preparing for the seasons. As an organization, we taken a lot of time to just really cultivate, our structure. So, I've been busy. I've been going to a lot of conferences over the summer, really kind of solidifying a lot of key relationships for our organization to grow. Hopefully future sponsors and other people that will participate in the work that we're building here with Sunday Stacks. But as you all know, that Sunday Stacks is brought to you by the I Am Brilliant organization. That's me and Shemekka together, just out here really serving communities. And we got some beautiful projects and some amazing announcements coming soon in regards to what I Am Brilliant's been up to and how we just continue to empower people. So again, a lot of just regrouping, recovering, getting the supply chain, as they would say, in order, making sure all the different companies, the children are settled, our kids are in school. Woo-hoo! Little Maxie, our son, went to pre-K this week. Yay, pre-K, shout out. So being a dad and making sure our kids are settled is so important and vital. Even though I'm an entrepreneur and, I'm just always building, I do speaking and different work across the country. One thing we will never not do is prioritize our children, and
absolutely
making sure that they know that they come first and being able to prepare them for their schooling, preparing them to be confident so they can take charge of these opportunities. That's something that's big to me and Shemekka, and we were able to do that this week as we were evenly active in the community through some of Shemekka's work. But at the same time, on my side, I'm regrouping, but still finding time to support her as she's growing and as she's supporting us as a family, as we're all preparing to make sure all our kids are successful as they're getting ready to go back to to school. So again, it's just been an amazing week, and I'm so grateful. And that brings us into our topic for today.
Wait. Don't forget now. We had an incredible time connecting with your mentor this week.
Oh, man. Now you're going to make me cry. She trying to make me cry, y'all. She right. If I'm going to tell how it's stacking correctly, I do have to give a shout out to Joseph Sampson. Now, Joseph Sampson is a mentor of mine out of the Raleigh-Durham market of North Carolina. He is an amazing contributor. He's been chairman of the board on so many different national boards, working tirelessly for issues that impact African American community and really making sure we always had a voice at the table for many years. And this man has been a mentor in my life to really foster that understanding of what community really means and how families really play an impact in how a community is shaped. And so just learning from him over the years, from a family structure that may have not been exactly how mine was growing up, but for him to let me into his life, treat me like a son, and really kind of educate me on so many aspects of what I could be as a leader in community. This man has been my mentor for over 15 years, y'all. 15 years. So shout out to the mentors out there that really take what they do serious. And because they do it effortlessly, it's never nothing to them to continue to give wisdom, tell great stories, and edify young people like myself, as well as other young people that I try to mentor now because of this man taking time to really impart his wisdom into my life. And let me tell you the craziest thing, y'all, funny little tidbit side note. I met this man many years ago going to another event, trying to meet another guy who I thought I wanted to be in business with. That guy ended up being a con man and all kind of crazy stuff. Met this gentleman who I'm talking about in the restroom of all places, and washing our hands, just said hello, had a decent conversation. He's been my mentor for over 15 years and has been an instrumental part of helping me to continue to grow my power and my authority in terms of really understanding the issues that impact our community and how I can do something about it. So shout out to Joseph Sampson and his whole family and everything they stood for many years and generations. And like I said, it's spreading and it's rolling to me and so many other people I'm sure he's mentored over the years. So with that, even better time to transition into our main topic. Yes, our main topic this week. So we're going off of our themes. Last week, we talked about RAM, right? Which was really a master. So we were looking at that theme to get people out of this mindset of the GOAT, which is being a GOAT, greatest of all time. And with I Am Brilliant, we are always really trying to get people to see that every one of us are leaders out here. Every single one of us are leaders. But what we want to focus on today is another acronym. This one is going to be, y'all follow it out how it's spelled, J.E.S.U.S. Now,
say that again.
J.E.S.U.S. J.E.S.U.S. J.E.S.U.S, which stands for Join Every Soul Universally Serving. Yes, J.E.S.U.S. Join Every Soul Universally Serving. So for those who are catching on to the acronym, and forgive my misspelling initially, that spells Jesus. Jesus. J.E.S.U.S, which we make represent in an acronym for Join Every Soul Universally Serving. And so why this is an important topic today is because we want to look at the works of masters, to pick up from last week's episode where we were talking about really a master. And what is a master but someone who has disciplined themselves as well as taken the time to really build themselves up to be stronger leaders and voices for the voiceless, right? And, some people can call them ministers, some people call them rabbis, and we call them CEOs and so many titles now, right? But Jesus is a figure, a public figure that the world renowned know. Time is based off of so many things. He was really a master. But even more so, as we break down this acronym of J.E.S.U.S, we speak of Join Every Soul Universally Serving. And so that thesis came to me many, many years ago as a way of really understanding that that's essentially what Jesus was trying to get us all to do, as well as what we all strive to do every day, which is join every soul universally serving, meaning that when someone's around the corner offering gas when your car is about to run out of gas, right? That person being there is of service to you. And so thus it creates a greater opportunity for your community and your family to get where they need to get to so you can continue to thrive and build out your company, right? If we all understand that in every aspect of our lives, if we all can just join in and find a way to create a service for one another, to find a way to make things a little bit easier, a little bit more convenient, when we know so many people have so many obstacles, so many day-to-day things going on in their lives, that spirit in itself can transform and galvanize so many what we perceive as issues in our world and our society. So as we encourage you all to take your mindset from the ram, which is you're really a master, to now join every soul universally serving, to really put yourself out there to say, hey, if I continue to do my part and create opportunities and service or be a mentor to someone, as we were just outlining in my week, right? All of that can change a life, change a family, change so many aspects of what we want to call community, and eventually lead us to create companies that are of service to that community. So we're not just creating things based on our own egos or our own vanities, but we're building things that really are meant to help other people achieve their goals and their wants and their realizations. And that service will continue to fall on you if someone else is out here looking for you to be of service, and then they're too themselves trying to be of service. Then we have an environment where everyone is always taking care of one another. And that's that tribe mentality. That's that village mentality that we've been trying to foster within community to get people out of silos, get people communicating so we can have community and really grow to the next level of what's possible. So what's your thoughts on join every soul serving, universally serving, right? Jesus. What are your thoughts on this, Shemekka?
You know, I appreciate the challenge that this calls us to not only acknowledge the miracle creators around us, the angels encamped about us, the good Samaritans that are helping people on the side of the road, like all of this fits this. And so regardless of what your faith is, your spiritual beliefs, if you're universally serving, because that's what many of our religious practices, our teachings, our spirituality has us in some position of helping someone else, serving someone else. And so when I first saw the join every soul universally serving, this was more so, for me, it feels like a Care Bear call, right?
Yeah.
That everyone that has a gift, a light, something illuminating in you, with intention, you coming together with others with intention to universally serve, whether it's on your street, in your neighborhood, in your community, within your state, globally, wherever there's a challenge, you apply your illumination to be a solution to someone other than yourself. Then that is us universally serving. Even an atheist can universally serve, because even with their thought process, they may not believe that there's a God, but there's a belief that there's an accountability within themselves to do something for the greater good. So we pull on all of that when we use this acronym of Jesus in a way to kind of help people come out of the box of being afraid to say the name of Jesus, but think about it also as a way that this is our calling out to all of those who care to join every soul universally serving.
I love it, Shemekka. You always bring such a light and perspective on these topics. And I thank the audience out there for following the train of thought that we try to produce here at Sunday Stacks, because week for week, we want to not only talk about how's it stacking up for you economically, fiscally, and all these basic things in our household, but we also want to talk about how we make you a better community leader. And like I said, last week's theme, the Ram, led us to this week's theme, Jesus. But each of them are meant to be easier ways for us to understand that being a ram, not just a goat, is about really a master. And then Jesus was a great example of a master, a loving teacher, a loving a fellow man within his community and how he worked with the disciples. And so when we look at being that person who is joining every soul universally serving, we too are following that thought process of discipleship that should come out of us, where we're disciplining ourselves to then show through our example and actions other people ways that they can too find reward and virtues out of being disciplined and really knowing when enough's enough, when, force does need to be applied, and when tables need to be overturned righteously to really show people that a new day is here to come. And so we look at that to transition into our Whiz of the Week. Yes, the Whiz of the Week. Always the favorite segment of all of you out there. We thank you all for always tuning in again on the live podcast network or here on YouTube. And this Whiz of the Week will not disappoint because we've had such an amazing week. We know what this week was. We had a whole DNC Extravaganza event going on in Chicago. We had it where we had a week where Trump can't pronounce his opponent's name. So let's say it with us as we learned this week at the DMC from some cute little girls.
The great nieces.
The great nieces of Kamala Harris. And yes, her and Tim Walz officially accepted the nomination of their party, the Democrats, to be both president and vice president on the ticket come this November. A lot of excitement. I mean, a lot of celebrities. You had the whole nine. They didn't spare anything, right? And the Republicans had their chance a few weeks back with the RNC convention. Now the Democrats had to step up and make sure that they were talking to their community, those people who really believe in their points of views, their policies. Kamala had a week of policy announcements and different agendas that she was rolling out. So this was a perfect time. And I mean, this woman was everywhere. I seen her in one state during the convention when days she wasn't speaking. She was just jumping all around, really trying to get to these swing states to really kind of talk to the people, let them see her, hear her message firsthand. And again, it's an amazing thing to see how quickly the Democrats have turned all this around, seeing that their original candidate a couple of months ago, we weren't even sure if he had a pulse to be able to go out here and do a debate, let alone how the party was pushing him out. And then they rallied around that he finally stepped down. And then they rallied around Kamala. And then they eventually now are pushing her officially as the candidate. We had different people from around the country's delegates, counts from different states step up, and they were able to do announcements. We had some local heroes at the convention as well, too. So shout out to people like Chris Suggs, Kinston native. So, I know somebody that's familiar with that town. But yes, Kinston. And so many other people. We had Leonardo Williams, a mayor out of Durham, good friend of ours. Seen him go from winning city council to find himself in the mayor's seat, and now he's at the DNC convention. So a lot of local people from our area out of North Carolina we represent. I love NC, you know that. And so as we see the growth in all the different states that, put their support behind this ticket, we really hope that a good change comes. It was amazing moments. Tim Walz's son had a moment where he was celebrating his father, who was a coach, and just had that's my dad moment. So authentic, so real. So it was a beautiful thing to see. There was a lot of other celebrity. I mean, so much to name. You go on YouTube, check it out. You'll see all the different speeches. But anything particular stuck out to you, Shemekka?
It was very nice to see a lot of people coming forward and speaking out after working for Trump, because I think even though people were mistreated that worked for him, they kept it quiet and covered it up, but they kind of let it all out this week. They had their confession session at the DNC, and so it was very unique to see how that played out. I'm a little concerned about the policies that are coming forth with what's being proposed this week, and hopeful that whatever she can get started while she's in there now, that there are people and teams working behind the scenes to utilize the power of what she has in her hand, and not feel like that her hands are tied from being able to do something now. Like, she has a cutting edge advantage being in the House right now. So what suggestions can you make, Esther, to persuade the king for your people?
There you go. I love that. And I never thought about it like that, honestly. And I'm sure the rest of y'all out there, you're right. Kamala is currently the current vice president of the United States. So there's still work to be done on this part of the Joe Biden-Harris term, as well as what she hopes to achieve by being at the not only the top of the ticket, but being able to be elected and then also being able to be governor or the governing body of the United States. So it is interesting to see. With that, don't let the Trump card not be played. So they waited, the Trump's camp waited right after the DNC, and they had a big announcement that they were keeping people on pins and needles. And we knew they were going to do something. They had to find a way to take out the luster a little bit out of the DNC. And we found out that RFK, yes, the nephew of John F. Kennedy and the son of Robert Kennedy, is stepping out of the race and is officially endorsing Donald Trump. And for anyone who, like us, we're independent, so we kind of tell the story from our own perspective. We understand the needs for greater growth in our communities. Again, family, community, company. So that's our FCC model. But ultimately, RFK had a lot of different point of views, had a lot of people's imaginations in regards to some of his policies and some of what people would consider another authentic voice in regards to where our politics are, where the conspiracies are, and the things that we need to take out of government as well as add for the people for protection. So RFK has officially endorsed Donald Trump. And from what I can understand, it seems that there's been some kind of negotiation for a special kind of post or position that he would have within the Trump administration in regards to taking out chemicals out of our foods and creating more healthier policies for what our Americans are consuming and taking in toxins, our drinking waters and those things, which are important. And I would love to see policies like that on whatever side is on the ticket that ends up winning, that we take common sense principles in regards to what will make all of us feel safe. I know I like safe drinking water, and I'm sure the rest of you all do too. So regardless of what level of the aisle you're on, regardless of RFK puts his support behind Trump based on what he believes is right, and those swing voters or those independents that are on the sidelines, choose right this November with your heart, but also understand today, this day you're listening to this Sunday Stacks, don't think the service of our country as we talk about our main theme today. Join every soul universally serving. All these people are telling us they want to serve at the highest level of what we call office in this country, to be the governing body of our country. But we all have to realize we have to govern our families today. We have to be ready to govern our communities tomorrow. And we have to be ready to continue to build our companies week after week after week. So people are being served and opportunities are being met and challenges are being overcome, that we can really build a country in the United States as well as a globe where we truly are deserving of the leadership and the voices that we're all afforded with our freedom. But more important, like I say, freedom is free, but also look for that kingdom, because that's a whole new mindset shift that no one can take away from you. So I'll leave it at that. Shemekka, you got any words for the audience and some cleanups?
If you have not done so already, we want to definitely encourage you to download the Alive Podcast Network app and look for Sunday Stacks. You can support us monetarily by subscribing. You can be a monthly subscriber or a yearly subscriber to Sunday Stacks to continue to get this message out as we continue to travel the world, bringing you realness around family, community, and company, and being naked and not ashamed, talking about our own journeys and how we are continuing to stack up week for week. So definitely download the app and join us on the Alive Podcast Network. And if this is your first time listening, please don't hesitate to go to sundaystacks.com and catch up on the following 2 seasons that came right before this one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. This has been a great episode. I hate to leave you all, but this felt so good just to connect. And we want you all to feel that Jesus. Join every soul universally serving. Yes. And as always, this is a message brought to you by the good people at I Am Brilliant. And as we always wrap up, I am brilliant and you are too. Thank you again for joining this episode of Sunday Stacks. We'll see you next week with another edition, and you take care out there. Peace.